Hello, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're featuring the white knuckle off-road rock slider for the Land Cruiser 80 series. This one here is particularly the 95. So the 95 and the 97 80 series are all the same. The 91 through 94, the catalytic converters are slightly different, or 91 is slightly different because 91 cat's on the driver's side, and then 93 94 is slightly different, but for the most part, this is the white knuckle off-road rock slider. Go ahead and give you guys a quick walk around first, and then you guys can check it out, and we'll talk about all the specs and logistics and install tips. Didn't get to film myself installing it yesterday, just got so busy. I was on a time crunch, so I just wanted to get it done. Took me about, I think, 2.5 hours. I think 1 hour on each side. And that's just because I was just taking my sweet time. If you guys do this all the time, you can probably just knock it out really quick, but give yourself about an hour each. Make sure you guys check out my unboxing first impression of the white knuckle. I'll link that below. Check that out first, and you guys can watch this one. But man, it is nice. My 95 3/4 inch lift, 37 inch front and rear E-lock on the front, rear lock, Grizzly on the rear locker. We got the skid plate by White Knuckle off already on the T-case. Make sure to check out that video already. And then custom front and rear bumper from the past owner that I bought it from. And these tube sliders fit in really nice. So go ahead and give you guys a far look. It kind of blends in. It doesn't look like I have sliders because my the bottom of my panels there are blacks because it blends in right in. But they're there. It's nice in there. These run about 1,300. Or at least depending on which option you choose. But for me, about 1,300. Shipping, after shipping their thing, all said and done, about 1,700, 1,800, get it shipped up to Alaska. So that's it right there. Can't really see at this angle. It doesn't stick out further than the tire. So that's it right there. And then and then plenty of room for a passenger to step on. This right here gets worn out all the time because people always step on here. But now you can step on here. So plenty of room. I love it, man. First impression, I love it. I love how the slider, they have the kick out. This is the kick out. You see how it comes out further and then goes in. And this is to prevent you when, let's say there's a tree right here. When you drive past that tree, it's gonna push your vehicle away so it doesn't hit your tire. So that's a very popular thing, kick out. Grab it, grab your handbar here, feet here. Step right up. Plenty of room. So it's sticking about maybe 3 to 4 inches out from here to here. 3 to 4 inches, so plenty of room. Same thing on the other side. Now these are customizable. They're not one all. You can customize this when you order it. And I'll talk about that in a bit here. So same thing, 3 to 4 inches from here to here. Plenty of room for stepping. For me, I went all out. I went with the best option that it had available. So the first thing you can customize is the material. There's HBrew metal, which is a bit weaker. And then there's DOM. This is DOM metal. So I went with the DOM metal. The price difference is not even that much of a big deal. So if you're gonna go for it, just go for it. Because this is one of those items that you want to buy it once and cry once, all right? You don't want to buy it and then all of a sudden, oh, I changed my mind, I want to get something else. This is the thing that you want to buy and get done with. So I went with DOM tubing, which is the stronger metal. Next thing you can do is you can get them longer. Where if you don't want to run mud flats, it'll go longer. And I didn't want to do that. I want to keep it where it can fit mud flaps, even though I'm not going to run mud flap. And the reason why I want to keep it short, because what if one day I want to put bigger tires? My tire's going to be bigger, you know? And it's going to hit, when it flex, it's going to hit. So there's plenty of room on the front. But you can see back over here, there's already not that much room. There's like 3 inches of room. So when this thing starts to flex, I have a feeling that it's going to hit right here already. So that's something to be cautious about. I kind of wish this slider ends like right here. It would have been nice if it ended like right here. So maybe 2 inches shorter. So that's one thing. So the length. The next thing you have is bare metal or powder coat it. I think it was like 40 bucks or 60 bucks extra for powder coat it. Just if you want to, you can go powder coat. I didn't want to mess with the powder. I didn't want to mess with painting and prepping, so I went with powder coat it. Now, if you have the time, I would recommend bare metal and prep it up and put some nice Raptor liner or bed liner, because I feel like that would be much more stronger. Or just rattle can it if you have time. But for me, I went with powder coating. They only have one option, which is black, so it's simple. The powder coating is very, it doesn't feel strong. It's very thin. So if you guys have, like, for example, like these metal, these are steel wheels, right? Like this coating here, this paint here, they put on is strong. I can tell that it's strong. But this right here feels like it's just painted. So that is one thing I would kind of, we'll see how good that is. So the powder coating is very basic. It's nothing strong. It's not super epoxy. Like, for example, the paint that they put on shopping carts, you can tell that those paint are strong, you know. This doesn't feel like that kind of paint. It just feels like a very simple powder coat. So that's black. So I got to powder coat it just because I didn't want to deal with the painting. Next thing is you can decide if you want the dimple plates. So this is the top plate. And I think it was only, like I say, it wasn't that much, guys. It wasn't that much. I highly recommend getting this. This is just really nice. It looks cool. It looks good. And it provides steps. But if you need it for a strict off-road rig, or you're an off-road guy and just need it for off-roading, you gotta beat the heck out of it, then yeah, you might not need it. But if you're like 50-50, you might want to get it. Now, when I ordered this, I thought that they were gonna weld this on. It's not welded on. It's actually just bolted in. So it's held by two bolts, one. Show you what it would look like. So they had their own tabs right there. You guys see those tabs? And all the hardware are included. And the paint that they put on this right here is a bit different. It's black, but it has just a little gritty texture to it, which is kind of nice. I kind of wish they would have went with that coat for the whole slider, because this is like a matte glossy. This is like a matte black. You guys can see the difference. And then this one here has like a little bit of grip, kind of like a grip tape. And then the next option that you have is the degree. So the slider itself right here, this tube here, you have the option to have 10 degree, which is what I have it at, like that. Or you can have it at 20 degree. So 20 degree would be more slope like that. All right, guys, that makes sense. Now 20 degrees is going to protect your sliders more, but it's not going to give you the option to step on. I went with 10 degrees just because, like I said, I want to use it for steps. And my wife, you know, she's short, kids in the future, they're gonna need something to step on. My wife and my mom, when they climb into my Land Cruiser, they're already like struggling. Ugh. So this will help. So 10 degree is nice. It's not super flat. It still has just a little bit of angle, but it's really nice. So that's it right there. So those are your options. I just, like I said, I went all out. I went all out with the option. And then the length of the slider and the slope of the angle, that's just personal preference. So decide what you want to do. Install was really easy. Shipping was easy. Do plan ahead for about 6 to 8 weeks. Mine took about 8 weeks to ship. I knew that already. That's why I ordered it early in January, winter time, so that it would arrive here in the springtime. So just plan ahead, guys. If you're in a rush to get this, you might want to call them first, but it would take about 6 to 8 weeks. So just order ahead. Now, install time, about 2 hours top, 2.5 hours max. If you know what you're doing, how to wrench. Pretty easy. These are bolt-on slider, guys, not weld-on. Technically, you could grind it down or grind down the paint and then weld it on, but it's nice to have bolt-on. And I heard bolt-on are just as strong as weld-on. I'm used to weld-on sliders, but these bolt-on are fine. So there's 3 arms on the driver's side. We'll talk about the driver's side, the easiest one. 3 arms on the driver, and they're all held by U-bolts. So the only thing you have to do on the driver's side is put the extension. It's like a little spacer extension for the brake lines, because the brake line is behind here. So that's all you have to do. So that's pretty easy. The brake line bolt that's kind of hard to get to is the one. There's 2 over here. One right here, one right here. The one farthest is a bit hard because it's like way, where is it at? It's way over here somewhere. But the one that's kind of difficult too is right over here, but you can get to it. You just need to make sure you have ratchet wrenches, guys. get yourself some ratchet wrenches, 12 mil and 13 mil. All right, and then we go on to the driver's side. The driver's side is just as easy. It's just a little bit more heavier because it has the cap protection. And yeah, so the driver's side is easy as well. There's no spacers needed for the lines because there's no brake lines or anything like that on this side. Has this right here. This protects the cat. Wraps around the cat. So on this side you have 2 arms only, 1 arm in the middle and 1 arm right over there. This arm here, to get this U-bolt in, behind this frame on the top, there's a heat shield for the exhaust, the muffler, and you just have to get a long pry bar and just kind of pry it just a little bit, just enough that this will clear it to get in here. So that's all. And then over here you have 4 bolts. So there's 1 arm right here, 1 arm right there that has 4 bolts, and those 4 bolts go into the factory frame. There's 4 threaded holes already on the frame. Now I do recommend those 4 bolts, they go into 4 threaded holes that's already on the frame that came factory from Toyota. I don't know what they're used for. They have never been used, so most likely they might be a little bit rusty. So what I did was I sprayed a bunch of WD-40 into the threaded hose, and then I took the 2 old bolts from the brake lines, because you're not going to use those anymore. They get new hardware. The 2 old bolts from the driver's side, I took those and chased it. I cleaned the threaded hose with it. And make sure you spray WD-40 and don't force it too much, because if you force it too much and it gets hot, you might strip the old bolts, and now you're stuck with a broken stud in the hole. All those 4 holes, just go ahead, spray WD-40, screw in those 12 mil, work it back and forth, don't force it too much, work it back and forth, let it cool down for a bit, and just make sure that your new hardware that comes with the slider goes in nicely into it. That was the only so-called hard / sketchy part, because you definitely don't want to break your bolts into those holes, because it's gonna be really hard. You pretty much can't get it out because there's not much room. But that's all you have to do. Adjustments was really easy to adjust. I did this by myself using just 2 jack stands to help support it. But for the most part, it was pretty easy. Anybody can do it. They're just easy, and of course, when you have a lifted truck already, you don't have to jack your vehicle up. I didn't have to jack my vehicle up. I just crawl under it. It made it so much easier being on 37. So if you're on a stock Land Cruiser, you're gonna have to jack up your rig anyways, and that might be more work for you guys, but for me it was already easy. So that's pretty much it. Good customer service, product is amazing, quality is amazing. The powder coating is not the powder coating. I already know it's gonna get dinged up because, like I said, the rock slider, and eventually you just have to touch it up with paint. So it is what it is. But as far as everything quality is very nice. Installation was nice. The mounting is nice. The only thing I'm kind of worried about was this clearance here, the back tires, because I know for sure that when this thing starts to flex, it goes all the way up already. So I know it's already gonna hit that. So we'll see how that goes in the future. And in the future, I feel like I might want to go 40. So that's the only thing that I will be kind of worried about is that right there, because it's gonna hit eventually. So maybe in the future, I might even have to like grind this part out and just grind it out and then block it out. So we'll see how that goes. I'll update you guys in the future. Maybe I'll give you guys maybe after 5,000 miles or 2 years or 1 year, I'll give you guys an update review on the rock slider. But for now, I haven't taken off-road yet. There's been like 1 mile only on it. This is my first drive with it. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys got any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hopefully this video will show you guys and answer some of the questions that you guys might having if you guys are looking for a rock slider. I think these are some of the best rock sliders on the market, because these guys, they deal with Land Cruiser 80 series. And I was comparing these with Metaltech 4x4, and Metaltech 4x4 doesn't have any option. There wasn't much option for you to do like custom stuff. Like it was just one selection. That's pretty much it, and it was a bit more expensive. So I went with this one that was a bit cheaper, that still had great quality and still has some good option for you. So that's the reason why I went with these. So if you guys are debating between Metaltech 4x4 or White Knuckle Off-Road, highly recommend White Knuckle Off-Road. Price is right, customer service right, quality is right. They don't cut corners, and everything's just great. So that's it for this video. We're gonna wrap it up. If you guys got any questions, drop down in the comment section below. If you guys want to stay up to date on my off-road adventure or 4x4 stuff, follow the Instagram NuttyNu_4x4. See you next time.